Facilitates conversation.
Okay.
So that we're not just going, today in Austin news.
Today. The cold.
No one knows the way but your damn self. People try to lend a hand, but they can't help. You gotta pick and choose. We are wearing different shoes. Be a bigger you. Go and get it, never hands out.
Yeah, because, you know, I'm glad you're saying the immune system, because there was a question I had, which is always coming back to me, because I hear my mom just constantly, and my dad too, is like, better put some shoes on, it's cold outside, like, you don't want to get sick. So I've just always associated in my mind, and I think a lot of people too, I mean, being sick is even called a cold. So people just associate cold temperature with, like, getting sick, so.
And I think we've all experienced that with our families.
Yeah.
It's a really big common thing, right?
Put a hat on.
Yeah, but exactly. And it's not so much the cold that's making you sick. Remember I mentioned earlier that your metabolic rate goes up 350%.
Yeah.
The reason why it's doing that is because your body's under so much stress that you have a lot of energy. So that in itself won't get you get sick though.
Okay.
The problem is that back to metabolism we talked about several episodes ago, that your metabolism has to spike so much to handle these certain things, right?
Right.
The problem is that if it's handling the cold temperature by itself, that alone is taxing your metabolism, and then if you can get bacteria on you. So because it's trying to handle just the cold temperature outside, it's so much easier to get sick, right? Mm-hmm. It's like anyone. It's like I always get sick when I'm hungover. Guys, I do drink, so when I'm hungover,
He goes hard.
when I do like
Cider.
Yeah, I do like my cider actually.
I
You
didn't
thought you were joking.
I
but
was just trying to jab and I hit you where it hurt.
cider has a lot of sugar though, so I'm doing that. And also, I get sick is when I do like 2-a-day workouts for like a week straight.
Oh yeah.
My body is so taxed by the end of that I don't have enough energy or my body doesn't have enough energy to defend itself from the immune system. So I always seem to get sick at the end of the cycles. So something to keep in mind is how much you're doing at one time. Your body has to handle that stress.
Yeah.
So that's why it's called a cold, though. Generally, is like the majority of your metabolism is trying to handle this specific temperature change, and then if you get a bacteria or some virus on you, then it's just like you can't handle everything. However, that being said, if you do regular cold water therapies and then you're out in the cold, you're producing so much more energy that you can handle the cold and handle the immune system. So keep that in mind. There is training for everything, right? And speaking of immune system. So, leukocytes, granulocytes, circulating levels of interleukin-6 and natural killer cells in activity. These natural killer cells, everything there, they respond, they're augmented to, I guess you call them increasing efficiency in waters that are 64 degrees or lower. So if you can get to a temperature of water 64 degrees and hang out for 10 to 15 minutes, you actually will enhance your immune system over time because your body's making more of those things. So back to the conversation a second about the cold, you might not have the defense mechanism right then and there to handle the cold and bacteria at the same time, but your body's preparing for next time. So it's like jacking up. By the way, leukocytes are like similar to white blood cells. They're cousins. Interleukin-6, granulocytes, all those things fall in the same category of immune system. In case you guys weren't aware. So it's gonna produce more of those. It's like, oh, we're under stress, we need to make more of these things, and then for next time you have more of them if too much time hasn't passed. So that's how you can get a stronger immune system. You can reduce your metabolic rate.
I think it's also a good idea now that I'm hearing this about the temperature, creating stress on your body and having to go through all these extra processes. Well, a lot of other processes that we go to also are the ones in our mind too. So if it's especially this time of year where it's like the holidays, a lot of times, people worry about getting time off to see their family or they're stressed about having to be with their family or having to buy like all these gifts and stuff. If you're all stressed out about that too, and then your body's under stress, I mean, it's very easy for people to get sick, I guess.
Absolutely. That's a really good way to look at it.
So it's really
for the season.
Yeah. So I think it's a very good idea to, if you're thinking about taking on any kind of like workout or taking on any kind of cold extremities, to also be mindful of where your mind is, where your stress levels are in your head too, because that's all gonna play together.
Absolutely. It's all about managing your life. And if you guys are serious about your weight loss journey, if you're serious about getting on this right fitness path that you've been wanting to for years, you definitely want to manage your next steps. All right, always look to tomorrow and next week and be like, all right, what am I going to run into that's going to cause me to relapse, essentially? Right? It's like being an alcoholic or a smoker in some ways. It's like, I want to stop those triggers before they happen. And for me, it's easily the holidays. Like when I'm hanging out with my parents, we talk about this.
Dude, the holidays are like for people with eating issues. The holidays is just like you just getting lined up to get shot down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, here's everything you could think of that you could possibly like to put in your mouth for like 2 months straight. Boom. Starting with Halloween.
And then
it kicks off tomorrow with all the candy.
That with having to deal with your family at the same time. You're like, oh God, I'm just gonna stress eat. Which is what I do.
As long as I'm eating, I don't have to conversate.
Yeah. As long as my mouth is full.
Yeah.
So son, how's the business? I'm and so in a nutshell, very, very good for you biologically.
Yeah.
And if nothing else, the pain of it is, you gotta remember this, I talk about this a lot, pain in itself is the answer. All right, and it sounds like such a douchey thing to say sometimes, but you shouldn't try to steer away from pain. Pain is a thing that, all these responses happen because of pain, and they make you better, and they make you stronger, and they make you want to work out more, and they increase your energy, and they give you more peace of mind. It's, when you wake up first in the morning, you take a freezing cold shower, I guarantee that first dude that you deal with in the morning that makes you upset, you're not gonna be as upset. Like you just, in relation to how you just felt in that cold shower to with how that person makes you feel, you're like, or you get cut off in traffic, like, man.
I might have to go home and take a cold shower right now.
So pissed, Joe.
Just everybody. Just the
I'm
world.
pissed off right now.
Yeah, I'm pissed. Especially at the viewers. No.
I can't see them, but I'm mad.
I'm so mad because you haven't liked this and shared it and subscribed.
It's not even edited yet.
It's not even edited. It's okay.
He wants you to go for the future. I like it now.
Yeah.
But I guess we can end on this note. So back to your thing.
Yeah.
I didn't want to research the performance aspect of it. I never really focus on performance-based stuff because I normally, as you guys probably know, I work with the everyday Joe kind of people who want to make transformations.
Right.
But to the performance stuff, there is.
As far as recovery.
Yeah, you're gonna heal faster. One, your inflammation drastically reduced. In fact,
that's awesome.
So much so that bodybuilders, CrossFitters, really performance athletes generally don't want to do cryo or cold water therapies right after they do their workouts because they're afraid they're not going to get the hypertrophy out of it because their inflammation is so drastically reduced. And you need, as we talked about before, you need the inflammation in order to heal yourself faster. Wow. So it's something to keep in mind if you're a performance athlete.
That is something to keep in mind.
Don't do cryo or cold water immersions or therapies right after a workout. You want to have that. Inflammation is good for you to a certain point, right? Chronic inflammation is bad. Acute inflammation, which is short term, is very good for you. Yeah. So that's probably why they made you do it. Also to increase your metabolic rate, metabolism, immune system. I mean, there's so many things that you probably get out of it that by doing that regularly.
Yeah, man. So
coach is smart about.
What I'm getting out of this is that, it could be a great idea to give your workouts the cold shoulder. But also just like Danny's been talking about, keep in mind what it's gonna do for you. And what I really love about these is a lot of times I come into these podcasts or to these shows with the kind of black and white, good or bad, aspect, and you always kind of draw it out. I'm like, look, man, it's not that. It depends on you. Depends on what you're shooting for. Where's your mindset? Where are your levels here? Where are your levels there? So it seems like all of this keeps pushing back to teaching everyone to be very mindful about your body. What you got going on, and understanding how you adapt or operate in different situations.
Absolutely. I think you actually pretty much nailed it. That's
okay. Well,
that's the thing.
I nailed it actually.
That's the thing I'm always trying to do, guys. And you actually nailed it perfectly. Everyone gets so frustrated. The number one thing you hear about the fitness and health industry is, there's just so much conflicting evidence, or so much conflicting research, or so much conflicting. There's actually not. There are people who tell you they read the research and they just went crazy on when it is go. I could have read this and be like, oh my God, cold water immersion therapy is going to increase your metabolism, make you better, faster, stronger. I'm like, no, technically not true, right? Depends on how you do it and who you are. Yeah. My job here, the way I see it, is I'm going to kind of connect those dots for you. It's like, hey, who are you? What are you trying to get? And this is probably the path for you, most likely. If not, it might work for somebody else and not for you, right? Just this is what I want to get out of this and get everyone to know that you have the information you need to do the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And just know that this guy says this, and this person says this, and they're really hardcore about it. Just if you want to know what's going to work best for you, please ask us in the comments below what you want to hear more about. Who are you? Okay, if you're going to ask a question, tell me who you are, what you're trying to achieve, and then how that relates to the question that you're asking me, right? So you get a really good idea of...
What a rude person. Danny left his phone on. It might have been mine. It might have been my phone. I don't know.
You don't recognize your own ringtone? So...
It was my phone.
Yeah, so those 3 things, and then I'll get back to you, or we'll actually do an episode on it. Either I'll get back to you right then and there if it's a simple one. If it's more difficult and I think it'll help everybody out, we'll get back to it on here and go forward with that. All right, guys?
Yeah, and also maybe share with us some of your cold water experiences or stories or times that you've used cold.
Yeah. If you had the Kevin Rose effect and you're like, oh man, I was giving my wife so many flowers because I had so much energy, tell us a story. Actually, I would love to hear it. I love when people are like, I had so much energy, I just like started a garden.
Yeah.
Like, what? You're like, just weird stuff happens all the time when we make big changes to our body and we get really excited about it. So thanks, guys. Remember, everything about this, remember to focus on how you can track what we're talking about, how you can manage what you're tracking, and make sure you have some form of accountability if you want to apply these kind of things to your life.
Yep.
My name is Danny Trejo.
I'm Benny Oliver, and we're all awesome.
I'm condoning going forward for those with a move on the back. Try to get in the zone, gotta go grind, I'm better alone. Forward, they telling me I ain't better me, I don't know why, but I fly my own. Now I'm building up, I don't think I'm coming down. Even stars start to shining when they underground. Lamborghini dreaming, meaning that no one can stop me. Started spitting sloppy, now they all coming to watch me. Made a lane that kept me staying on my own. This is my throne, that's why I'm taking the high road. Whoa, no one knows the way but your damn self. People try to lend a hand, but they can't help. You gotta pick and choose, we are where